Hi, welcome to Loft 801. My name is Diego, and today I am talking about William Eubank's latest film released on February 16th, 2024, Land of Bad. It's an action thriller following Sgt JJ Kiney and his team after a Spec Ops rescue mission goes awry. Now, before I hop into my review, if you want to support the channel, then please take a second to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you, I appreciate it. As a warning, this review will contain some heavy spoilers, so please continue at your own risk. Lastly, if there's anything that you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know by leaving a comment and I will get to it as soon as I can. Thank you. I'm hopping in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk about the plot in a little more detail because I want to give some context on some things I think the movie does really well. Sgt JJ Kiney is a JTAC operator. He is a Joint Terminal Attack Controller, which means it's his job to direct the actions of military aircraft from the field. He is your guy for air support. He's kind of the victim of a wrong place, wrong time issue. He missed a flight home, and because he's a JCAT operator, he's sent on a Spec Ops mission with 3 deltaforce members: Luke Hemsworth, Sergeant Abel, Sergeant Bishop, and Master Sergeant John Sugar Sweet. Their mission is to rescue a CIA spy in the southern Philippines from a man named Victor Petrov. They're scouting out the compound their target is at when a local militia led by Saeed Hashimi arrives to kill Petrov and takes over everything. This kickstarts the roller coaster ride of the movie and its military operations. In the chaos by Hashimi, the Delta Force team is exposed and they are pitted in a hell of a firefight that leaves Sergeant Abel dead and the remainder of the team separated. At this point, the vibe of the movie transitions into a survival film as Sergeant Kiney tries to get to his extraction point. He runs into numerous obstacles, but I will let you find out what those are. Personally, I really enjoyed the portrayal of the military operations in this movie. I am not the most patriotic American, but I do work as a software developer for the Air Force, so it's kind of cool seeing how JTAC works remotely and in the field. To be clear, I don't work on JTAC stuff, but it's interesting to think about how the stuff I do work on could be used in real life. It's not really a novel concept for a movie, but it feels personal to me, and I'm okay with that. I talked about remote JTAC, so let's talk about Russell Crowe's character, Captain Eddie Grim Reaper. He is a grizzled, grumpy old man, set in his ways, and honestly, I think Crowe fits this role very well. I see older military men all the time, and he looks like he belongs in this movie, especially as a drone operator. I'm not normally a fan of seeing Crowe, but I think he does a good job in this movie, not just by having steely nerves when needed, but for also providing some light-hearted humor. He gives off kind uncle, grandpa vibes. The other main character, Liam Hemsworth, also does a wonderful job in this movie. I feel bad saying it, but I have never cared about his filmography. He always seems to be upstaged by Chris Hemsworth, but in this movie, I forget all about that. Liam fits the look of his character so damn well. He looks like a poster boy for the Air Force. He's tall, he's built, he's handsome, and he's smart, yet he still has that fresh, young, innocent look to him. He kind of starts off as a deer in headlights, but has some great character progression throughout his survival and ultimately ends up more like a wolf in a chicken coop. I think the rest of the cast is great. They don't have much screen time, but Luke Hemsworth, Ricky White, and Milo Ventimigilia look like a seasoned Delta Force team. They have the camaraderie and banter on point. Each member adds some depth to the team and kind of makes you root for their success. Outside of characters and acting, another thing that I really enjoyed about this movie was the cinematography. I don't think it's groundbreaking, but the strategic use of drones helped give a sense of scope to the harsh Philippines environment. The bird's eye view of the battlefields and the landscape really helped heighten suspense. Speaking of suspense, I think the soundtrack was awesome. It did a great job keeping me on my toes and ready for a shootout at any moment. At the same time, it also helped enhance the emotional impact of some key scenes. Ending the movie, Painted Blue by Charlie Crockett was a wonderful choice. I'm still listening to that song today. Makes me feel like a cowboy. I only had 2 major complaints about this movie. Firstly, the pacing. I think the tone is mostly excellent, but because the movie switches from fast-paced action in the Philippines to a dull office room in Vegas, sometimes the cut doesn't work too well. I get that it's to give viewers some time to breathe, but sometimes we don't need that much time to breathe. If you overstay your welcome, it starts to feel like runtime filler. My last comment on the pacing is that the ending feels a bit abrupt. Kiney survives, but we don't get to see any of the aftermath of his actions in the movie, so it feels slightly unrewarding. My other complaint is the shenanigans that take place in the barracks Reaper is operating from. It's a bit unfortunate, I know, but in classified spaces, you don't have access to your phone. It's rough, trust me. Every call is through landline and office phones. In the movie, Reaper's wife is pregnant, so he tasks his men with monitoring a landline and reporting to him if she calls. Instead, these mofos unplug the landline so they don't get distracted from watching a basketball game. They don't do this just once, but multiple times throughout the movie. I know for a fact these MFs would be getting flamed and reprimanded for even doing that just once. The drama their actions cause feels so forced and faked, it took me out of the movie for a second. Honestly, the more I think about it, the entire backstory with Reaper could have been completely completely cut out of this movie to tighten the pace and runtime. I honestly enjoyed Land of Bad much more than I anticipated. It dives into the world of military operations, largely through the eyes of Sgt JJ Kiney, a JTAC operator on a Spec Ops rescue mission that goes wrong. I think the movie does a wonderful job of navigating between action-packed combat and survival scenarios as Kiney races against the clock to reach safety. The addition of Russell Crowe's character, Captain Eddie Grim Reaper, added some depth and humor to the movie that complements Liam Hemsworth's transformation from hesitant rookie to determined survivor. The ensemble cast, including Luke Hemsworth, Ricky White, and Milo Ventimigilia, helps you root for their success because of their team dynamic and camaraderie. Cinematography and drone shots are helpful in capturing the harsh Philippine terrain and provide the sense of scope the movie needed. The soundtrack was great and amplified the tension and emotion Kiney was feeling, with my favorite track being in the end credits, Painted Blue by Charlie Crockett. My only real complaint about this movie is the pacing. There are some plot elements with Reaper that feel contrived and detract from the overall experience. This runtime filler could have been cut out to make this movie feel a lot sharper and concise. Overall, despite its flaws, I believe Land of Bad delivers thrilling action, compelling characters, and a solid survival story. Due to my line of work, I think this movie resonated with me a little closer than it might with some people, but I would still recommend watching it. Seeing Liam Hemsworth in this movie has given me some hope for his portrayal of Geralt in Season 4 of The Witcher. Thank you for listening to my review of Land of Bad. If you enjoyed the content and want to support the channel, then please take a second to like and subscribe. If you did not enjoy the content, thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate it. As always, I would love to read what you have to say, so let me know what you're thinking by leaving a comment. Also, if you want to see something reviewed, don't forget to let me know and I will do my best to get to it. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, then you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast, Good Friends. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Diego and I will see you next time.